To my left, we have a new guest. He's called Max. He's from Hyconic. It's an influencer agency. It's okay to say it like that?
We are a platform that enables brands to scale influencer efforts through performance marketing, basically.
Okay. So yes, I would like to know a little bit about yourself. Why do you came to this company? Why are you pushing this idea? What is your background? What is your motivation to be here and make exactly this presentation?
About my background, it's actually my second startup, and about a little bit more than a year ago, my co-founder and I dig through different ideas, and we worked with a couple of companies on a couple of things. And what we figured out ultimately is that, in our opinion, influencer marketing is at a super premature stage of the market. Meaning, first of all, the metrics that are sold are not where other online marketing channels are. So stuff like potential reach, or then engagement as a performance metric. That was really fascinating to us. And then we basically dig deeper and tested hypotheses like, is there actually an uplift if a person sees a post of an influencer in comparison to an ad of a brand? And there is an uplift. And we asked ourselves, how can we solve the problem of targeting, of scaling? And that's what we do. We basically enable brands to scale influencer posts through the accounts of the influencer so that they touch the people who should actually see it. Without scatter losses, measure it, and scale it.
Okay, maybe you can say a little bit more about this point, because I didn't fully understand when I was sitting in your presentation why an influencer with a relatively small number of followers has such a strong reach after you applied your magic, basically.
Okay, so the way influencer marketing works today is mainly brands pay major influencers, maybe also smaller influencers, to post something. And then on Instagram, for example, a relatively small share of their audience is reached, round about something between 10 and 20%. And they are not all relevant to the brand, right? So if you, for example, if you sell a product only to women, it's absolutely irrelevant if you or I see it, right? Influencers and the reach through influencers is extremely expensive in comparison to any other marketing channel. And at the same time, it's all in the social media ecosystem universe. And so the first question was, what if we scale the post, or let the influencers scale what they produce through paid ads? And most influencers don't have a background in scaling content. The next question was, what if we do that? But we actually believe ultimately the brands should do it on their own. And if you basically separate the content creation and the distribution, it doesn't actually matter anymore how many followers this person has. If you work on the hypothesis that that organic reach is extraordinarily expensive and not targeted, you kind of want to ignore that. So that basically only people with good content are the ones who produce the content, and then you basically buy the reach. So you can then reach ultimately anyone through people with really small accounts, and that's what we help the brands do.
Okay, I'm not really familiar with this, how this works. Could you get even into more detail? What does it mean, scaling and buying ads and something like that?
So one step back, Facebook marketing works. Is ultimately a channel that, in our opinion, you should think from a performance perspective. So as a brand, you place Facebook ads into your target groups, retarget people, prospect people, try to reach people that don't follow you, right? And basically, that's exactly what we do, but for the creator market. So creators only have a limited amount of followers that are not all really relevant, and we enable the brands to do what they do with their own Facebook marketing, also in the name of the creator, and scale that to anyone basically they think should see it, so to any audience in the universe. And then also do what they do with their own marketing, but through the creator, meaning, for example, dynamic retargeting. You see a product on a website, you don't buy it but drop out, and you might have seen that a couple of times, that you get banner ads on websites. But you can do actually the same thing through a creator, meaning you drop out, go on Instagram, and if you do that through your business manager, and we help brands then to actually place these ads also through the usual Facebook advertising logic. You can, for example, place a story right to the person who just dropped out of buying a product of yours, and that can be really powerful if you have if you have someone who didn't buy it, who was about to buy your product but did not, goes to Instagram and then sees a creator explaining the product again. And that's one of the cases.
And please say something about the market today. You said several times that it's very expensive to buy influencers. A lot of companies feel money is wasted on these campaigns. What goes wrong there, and where do you think the market will go in the next year?
What goes wrong first? I mean, the metrics that are sold today are different than metrics in many other channels. Stuff like potential reach is a very intransparent metric. If I sell you 100,000 potential reach, how many people are actually going to see it? That's something different than actual reach. And also the measurability is not really high. So you can work with coupons, for example, but that's about it. So it's a channel that happens online, but you measure it kind of like flyers, or even out of home. What I absolutely believe is that the channel will evolve into a performance logic, meaning that influencers and their organic reach are becoming what they were in the beginning, which is content creators, creating credible content for the audiences of the brand. And then the brand, through the influencers, will make sure that the right people see it and measure what's happening afterwards on the website in comparison to relatively black box posts, potential reach. There may be reach, maybe engagement, but that's about it. So there will be a movement in the direction of performance marketing.
Okay. At your workshop, there was a guy asking a question about fake accounts, companies who hire actors who then act like influencers and then are basically working for the company again, or seem to work as an influencer for the company again. Seems like a really crude logic for me. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, right? So if companies have, for example, employees explaining the company for hiring purposes, it might be totally fine, or it might be the most efficient way to market. Also, not, you said crude, but actually really authentic, because the ones who should be able to talk about the company and the employees in the company are maybe the employees. In terms of just creating fake accounts and then using them as vehicles, I mean, from what I would say is ultimately customers will realize if content is not authentic, which would mean it performs less good than real people explaining real products, or especially if the people like the brands or like the products. And I think that is something where the market has to go to be sustainable in the long run.
Okay, that's it from my side. Any other topic you would like to touch? No? Max, thank you very much.